Hey everybody. One quick note before starting today's episode. This week's 5-star iTunes review, titled An Unbiased Non-Judgmental Drug Podcast, written by Domestic Schwill. Domestic Schwill says, "This is an amazing show. Hearing people talk about the relationship with substance use and its objective effect on their life is a positive thing we need to do as a species. This podcast will benefit users and non-users with some perspective on the nature of the human experience that is substance use. I hope it keeps going, and when I get some spare scratch, I'm donating. Don't forget to know your source and keep listening." Thanks a lot, Domestic Schwill. With that out of the way, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Thanks for listening, everybody. Could you describe yourself a little bit?
Born and bred in Australia. 18 years old. Not very tall. Pretty outgoing. Pretty crazy on the drugs. Like to get on the MD and the acid a lot. Smoke a heap of bongs all day, every day, and I work whenever I can. Yeah.
Do you remember the first time that you smoked marijuana?
Yeah, I do actually. It was I was actually ditching school, and I think 9th grade, I think it was, ditching school. Me and the boys, we were out in the bush riding on our BMX. Mate pulls out a fucking plastic Gatorade bottle, which is what we use for our bongs. We just like jam a hose into a plastic bottle and smoke out of that. It works like a charm. And we were sitting up in the bush, and one day he just decided to bring out the bong, and he's just like, "Yo, Johna, did you want one?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, go on, give us a cone." So I was standing up, and he packed me a pretty decent cone. First time, pulled it straight through, hit me like a champ. Oh, head spins galore. Then I sort of what was going on, sat straight down on my ass and exhaled the cone and had another one. So yeah, that was a pretty good first cone.
Psychotropic presents Johna. What was your first experience on MDMA?
My first experience on MDMA was I think I was only I would have been 16 or 17, and me and my mates, I was going down to my mum's in Sydney for a couple of days, so me and my mates were like, let's get on the grog, let's get on the drugs, let's do something cool. And they're all 18, I'm not, because I wasn't 18 at the time. They decided to sneak me into the local club that was just down the corner. They snuck me into there, and I ended up getting these grey Transformers. I got 3 of them, and I got them off a mate, and I crushed 2 up, snorted 2 of them, and then just like ate the other one. And holy moly, that was the first time I've ever been on any sort of like upper or anything, and that was holy. I was all over the place, did not know what I was doing. Jaw was swinging, I was frothing smokes. My mate lost me like 5 times that night. I ended up getting kicked out. They asked for my ID. So we went for a really long walk back to my mate's house and got on some more bongs and ended up getting locked out of the house and sessioned in my mate's car all night and got pretty shit-faced. It was pretty disgusting, actually. We were pretty scared that night.
Was that experience something that you preferred over marijuana?
Nah, not at all. Wasn't much of a going out person at that time, so I was like, nah, fuck the uppers. Let's like stick to my cones and stayed to my cones.
How did you come across acid?
So what actually happened was I started going to a new dealer, and we became real good mates and all that. And then he found out that I crashed my car. I was in trouble with the police, all that sort of stuff. I went off and sold my plates at the registration thing. I got like $300 for it. Came back to my dealer's house, and he's just like, yo, I know you're on the dumps, bro, but fucking do you want to get on the alcohol, get on the acid, and like smoke some bongs, and you'll get over it, sort of thing. I was like, yeah, go on, might as well. So he got me to track down the acid, which like I've never even tried doing before, so that was pretty difficult. But we ended up finding, I think they were like 150 UG tabs, and they weren't really made us hallucinate or anything, but they're pretty sure it was a mind trip, that acid trip. Because I remember I kept on fucking getting like real lost and not being able to understand what I was trying to say, or like getting tripped up on what I was saying. So I'm pretty sure the first two times were pretty mind trips. So yeah, that wasn't too bad.
So you never really experienced any visual hallucinations? It was all mental?
Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't really experience any visual hallucinations until I did that 500 UG drop, which is pretty fucking hectic.
Can you describe that?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, so pretty much me and my mate, we were pretty good on the acid. Like, we thought we were doing all sweet because we had done it a couple of times together, and we're like, all right, like, let's take it to the next step. You always hear about people going out on acid and going club and going out to the parties, all that sort of shit. So we're like, yo, let's go see my mate and go chill at his house and have a party over there. So we ended up getting this acid. It was fucking 250 UG each on each tab, and what it wasn't like an actual normal paper tab. It was the sour clouds that had acid dropped onto it. So immediately when I first saw them, I was sort of thinking, these aren't even real for starters. These aren't gonna affect me. Blah 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 blah. So I chucked them in my mouth, let them dissolve, and we ended up going to the party. Got on the acid. By the time we were going to the party, well, the acid hadn't really hit us yet. We walked into the shed, sat down between probably about 6 other people in this group circle, and then there was probably about another 20 people in the shed. I probably knew about 2 other people in the shed, and that was the guy who owned the shed, and some other weird cunt that was just acting like a spaz walking around. So it was pretty weird to begin with, and my mate ended up ditching me. Well, not my mate. The mate that I knew that owned the party ended up going elsewhere, so we didn't know where he was. And we were like, all good. We'll just chillax, wait for the acid to kick in, smoke some bongs, and just keep going. So about 15, 20 minutes passed. Don't really know the exact amount of time, but we're just chilling there. I remember I was just smoking bongs. I had a sip of my alcohol, had another bong, and as soon as I pulled that second last bong, holy moly, I just felt everything in me just changed. I don't know how to explain how it changed. It just changed, and nothing felt the same. And I looked up, and everything around me was getting harder to see. I was starting to hallucinate. Well, not extremely bad hallucinate, like fucking pigs flying around or something, but I could see squirrels moving around. If I looked down my phone would just go spastic and everything would be moving on my phone. But if I looked up, I didn't know where I was, and I was just getting really, really lost and really, really confused. So I just decided to, I looked over at my mate, Scotty, and he was seen over there as well. I could also tell that the acid had also hit him, but I didn't really think of anything of it. I just sort of said, fuck, hopefully he's all good like I'm all good. And for myself, the visuals were getting pretty intense, and I could barely look up from my phone without becoming paranoid because I did not know anyone or where the fuck I was or what the fuck was going on. So me and my mate were just pretty much either looking at our phones or just staring at each other, not knowing where the fuck we were, even though turns out when the next day when I came back, those people around the table, I actually knew 4 of them. That was actually really good close mates with. I was just tripping so hard that I didn't really remember, or I didn't really recognize their face. So we were sitting there, and then time goes past. I'm tripping still pretty hard, still pretty scared about what's going on, and then I get a text message on my phone. And a bunch of girls, they just rocked up, and these girls I've known for a long time, so I was like, fuck yes, someone that like can sort of come save me. So the first thing my instant thought was to get the fuck up out of the chair and just start walking. And I walked straight out of the shed. Everything was nice and normal, all nice and chilled, but probably about 10, 15 steps after I get out of the shed just sort of goes all dark and just sort of disappears because someone had obviously closed the fucking roller door on it. So I didn't know where the fuck the garage was anymore, and I thought it had disappeared. And so I'm starting to panic, trying to figure out where the shed is, but I thought, well, let's just keep on walking, let's get to the gate. And I start walking. I walk past where all the mums and dads and all the parents are of the at the party, and they're actually pretty chilled people. They're all getting drunk, they're all drinking, they're all on the MD, they're all smoking. So like they obviously didn't care that I was tripping, but in my head I was absolutely shit scared to what they were thinking about me. I didn't know. I thought I was just wigging out real hard, and I didn't know what to do. So I kept on walking. I got to the gate. I asked if they couldn't figure out the gate. Started walking back. I had to ask them where the gate was. I walked back to the gate, got to the gate. As soon as I remember trying to open up the gate. It was a really, really big, heavy gate. And then I remember seeing my friends standing on the other side of the gate. And pretty much as soon as I saw them, for some reason, my view just went from normal to, have you heard of tunnel vision? Or I think that's what it is, tunnel, where your view just sort of goes off into a rectangle view and just disappears into the distance.
Yeah.
It just started doing that, and everything just went black. And all I remember was waking up on the floor. I could hear everyone yelling around me. I couldn't see anything. It was all still pretty dark. Couldn't see anyone. Didn't know what the fuck was going on. But I could hear everyone's voice calling out to me, like trying to figure out what I was doing. And then it stopped. Everything just stopped. I got back up I just woke up on the ground. Got back up, not knowing what was going on or anything. And everything just felt like it stopped for a second. And I thought like maybe my trip had been finished and that I was all right. And we ended up walking myself back into the shed to go see my mate. My mate's still sitting there tripping. He doesn't know. He's still pretty gone. And the whole time we were walking back to the shed, it felt like my trip had been finished. Like I was in the clear. I was nice and safe. But as soon as I got back into that shed and that roller door opened back up, the trip just hit me straight back again. And just again, wasn't as intense, wasn't as scary, but it hit me with the same force. And I just looked at my mate and I just told him we need to get the fuck out of there. And he just sort of gave me a weird let's go. So I don't really know what happened with his trip. But my trip was pretty heavy going, but wasn't too bad. So we ended up getting one of his mates to pick us up, and we were still tripping pretty weird. We didn't know what the fuck was going on. We were both lost. We were both stuck in the trip trying to figure out like what the fuck we just took because we didn't think it was acid. We thought we got given some dodgy drug. So we're getting stuck in a loop trying to figure out what's going on, why this happened on the lift on the way back home. But for some reason, as we were coming around the corner to get home, I saw the Macca's sign, which is like about 5 k's down the road from where we are. And I saw the Macca's sign, and for some reason, when I saw that, everything in my trip the perspective just changed. Everything was just chilled. I was home. I wasn't feeling unsafe. I wasn't feeling threatened. I was just happy to be home full of mates in the passenger seat, still fucking wigging out like a weirdo. So we finally get back to my house, and we ended up, I ended up having to go into another room because his bad vibes are starting to make my trip go weird again. So I ended up just seeing him in that room and just saying, sit, stay, sort of look after yourself. I'm going to go enjoy my trip. And that wasn't too bad. And then a couple of days later, we got on 500 GG again. And that was, how you going?
And a similar sort of a thing happened. You guys went fucking bananas.
Yeah, we went pretty good. I was actually pretty good. One of my mates actually ended up fucking staying outside for a couple of hours, tripping pretty hard for like 4 hours, just sitting in the backyard, just looking into the trees. That was kind of funny. We had another mate have a real bad trip in our bathroom that day. He was a big boy. He was about 6 foot something, easily 180 kilos, and he went for a walk, and I think something happened with him and his girlfriend. So he had a bad trip from that. And when he got home, our bathroom, right, it's pretty trap house. So our bathroom's pretty big. It's like a laundry, bathroom, shower, everything together. So it's massive. And he walked in there and the light didn't turn on. And he closed the door on himself. So everything's pitch fucking black. And he's got no lights on, doesn't know where the door is. This is like the second time he's been in my bathroom. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. So he starts tripping pretty fucking bad, starts howling and shit. So me and my mates were standing outside trying to lock the door, trying to like, is this guy going to go crazy on us? What the fuck's going on? And I ended up running down to the side of the window just to actually check to see if he's okay, 'cause we didn't know what the fuck was going on. And I look in the window and he's just standing in the mirror, no shirt on, all red, all sweaty, just like huffing and puffing in the mirror, making weird noises, which was pretty weird.
What did he talk about what he was going through?
No, we've never been able to get a word out of him. We've asked him millions of times, but he doesn't like saying anything about it. So I'm guessing something hectic happened.
Wow.
Something pretty hectic, yeah. And our house is actually pretty weird for tripping. We had another mate the first time, me and my dealer and another guy, Regan, he was getting on the acid for the very first time. And he's really big on the MD, so he's like never done acid. He just wanted to try it because we did it. And for some reason, my mate Scotty, he couldn't handle the acid as good as I thought he was going to. Like 200 UG, usually we can handle that pretty decently. But I think it was just because we had Regan who was wigging out in the room. But what had happened was I just wanted to get on the acid. I was just like, I just want to have one chilled night. I just want to fucking trip some balls and just chill. And they're just like, oh, yeah, okay. And then they ended up being sooks and getting on it with me. And it was all rushed, all very rushed. It was all very pedantic. I was sort of in a pissed off mood. I was sort of like, yeah, fuck you. He's going to come ruin my trip sort of thing. And then they're all like, oh, yeah, we're going to trip with Johna, blah, 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 blah. It's like, fuck, man. All right. So we get on 200 UG, get on some bongs, and we're just chilling in our room, in my room, just watching the Big Les show. And we're like to him, just like put the tab in your mouth bar and just forget about it. Don't mention it. Don't talk about it. Don't ask questions about it. Just take it, bro. And just forget about it. And he's just like, oh, yep, okay. He takes it, and then 15 minutes later, he's like, oh, do I swallow it? Do I eat it? What do you want me to do with it? I was like, bro, just put it in your mouth and forget about it. Legit, that's all I fucking do. I might play around with it for a little bit, but I just forget about it. And he's just like, oh, okay. And then another 10 minutes pass, he's still asking questions about it. And then 5 minutes later, he's like, oh, I think I'm starting to feel it. I was like, no, bro, it's only been like fucking 20 minutes. You're not feeling jack. And you've only just swallowed the paper, bro. Like, what the fuck? So he's still fucking asking questions, saying that he can feel. He's like, oh, am I meant to be feeling like this? Or I can see shit moving around. It's like, bro, like, you need to just settle down. You just need to relax. You just fucking need to stop asking fucking questions. And no matter how many times we told him, we could not get him to not stop asking questions about acid. And for me, I find as soon as you start asking questions about your trip, as soon as you start questioning it, that's when it all goes fucking south for you. That's when you'll go into a bad trip. You start thinking, what the fuck's going on? So I was just telling him, just forget about the acid, just pretend you never even took it. Just keep on watching the Big Les show and just keep on smoking cones, and you will notice it. And once you notice it, you won't even need to talk about it because you're tripping good, you're sweet. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay. And then about an hour passed, and like the acid had hit him. He was pretty fucked up. And for some, I don't know what was going on, but my trips had never done this before. Usually my visuals are really nice, fucking smooth, nice and gentle sort of trips. But when I was watching the Big Les show, having my mate next to me, having Regan next to me, having sort of a weird sort of doesn't know what the fuck's going on trip. When I was watching the Big Les show, my visuals were very fucking jagged and very fucking aggravated. Like, it just felt angry. I don't know what the fuck why, but it just felt angry of me. And I was just like, oh, I ended up turning down the TV, the brightness and the volume to sort of like help chill out with the trip. I turned the lights off to stop making it so bright, and tried chilling the environment down. But no matter what I could do, it just was not working. And then I've got text messages on my phone from about 20 minutes after that of me telling my other roommates that this Regan guy needs to leave my room because he started acting really, really strange. Like, this wasn't our mate anymore. Like, he was petrified while he was tripping. He didn't know what was going on. You could see in his eyes weren't there anymore. It legit looked like he had no soul. And when I see that shit when I'm tripping, I'm like, I sort of freak out. You're sort of like, what the fuck's going on with this guy? Like, is this going to happen to me? Like, I started getting those sort of thoughts. And then once I started getting those sort of thoughts, I was like, nah, fuck this. I need to message someone. I need to tell someone what's going on. Otherwise, something bad will fucking happen tonight. Like, I will go into a bad trip if I don't talk to someone. So I started messaging my roommates and just like, what's going on? What's going on? I was like, bro, you need to get this guy out of the room, because he kept on getting stuck in trips. He kept on dragging my mate, getting him stuck into trips, which was ruining his trip. And he kept on trying to drag me into his trips, because he would get stuck in a conversation where he doesn't know what the end of it was, and he does not know what the start of it is. And he would just kept on getting stuck in those sort of conversations. And he would always try to ask Scotty, he'd be like, oh, what about this? And because me and Scotty would be having a decent conversation, would be tripping good, would have that good connection, would be all sweet. But as soon as Regan would say, like, oh, it would just say something fucking wig out. I don't know what the fuck he would say, just something wig out. And then it would grab my mate's attention. It would bring him out of my trip, out of our good trip, and it would take it into his wild, wacky fucking wig out trip. And every time he did that, like, you could see it starting to affect my mate's trip. Like, you could see his trip getting worse and worse and worse each and every time he got dragged into Regan's trip. So I'm pretty sure I ended up going upstairs at one point. I ended up calling my mates. I was like, you need to come down here. You need to look after him while I go upstairs, and I just explained everything, what's going on. Because I knew as soon as I explained to someone what the actual fuck was going on downstairs, I would be all sweet to trip again. Like, that was just how I am. It was weird. I don't know how to explain it. But I ended up going upstairs, and while I was upstairs, my other roommate came down, and he wasn't on the acid or anything, and he knows those two boys very closely, and he knows that, like, he's pretty good mates with them. And he's like to them, I came back downstairs and I was like to my mate, I was like, see, bro, they're not being normal. Like, they're tripping pretty weird. That something's going on with their heads. And I even say that because my mate Scotty, he's a drug dealer. He's been rolled. He's had heaps of problems. So he's very, very cautious with what he does, with his money, with his buds, everything. So never in the world would he ever reach into his safe and pull out extra buds to chip into my chop. Never. Never in the world would he ever do that. This guy was tripping so fucking hard, he added an extra 4 Gs into my chop. Like, he never does that. And if you knew who he was, you would understand. I told all my other mates, and even they were like, no, what the fuck? He must have been tripping hard, bro, for him to do that. So those buds ended up getting muzzed up, turned to shit. He muzzed it up way too much, and he usually never fucks up any of his bud. He fucked up all the bud, pretty much turned it to dusties, which is putrid. Burnt the fuck out of my throat. But we ended up still smoking it, still session, still went on. My mate's still wigging out in the other chair, but we're still like, I'm still trying to act like nothing's happening. I'm still just trying to enjoy my trip. I'm blocking those two out at the moment. And then it went real quiet. I turned the TV off. There was no TV playing. And my mate was just playing real shitty music. And I was just like, oh, yeah, fair enough. Like, it's good, but it's fucking shit. We'll just listen to it. And then Regan was sitting in the other chair opposite to me, and he's blabbering on about something none of us understand. Like, we can't understand a fucking word he's saying. And then he just stops and looks directly at me and looks directly at the bathroom. Then looks directly at me again. He goes, Jonah, there's someone behind you. And I looked into his eyes, and his eyes were probably big as fucking watermelons, just black, had nothing in them. And he's just sitting there staring at me after jabbering on about some random shit that none of us even understood. Just stops and just looks at me and goes, Jonah, there is someone behind you. And our house is pretty fucking freaky. Like, we probably got ghost galores down here, but so I knew to him that there was someone behind him, like behind me in Regan's eyes. So I didn't say anything, didn't look. So I felt as if I looked, that would be me joining into his trip, and there's going to be some freaking motherfucker standing there looking at me. So I just sort of ignored him. And my mate Scotty goes, what? What did you say? And Regan goes, there's someone standing behind Jonah. And for that whole entire night, I did not fucking look behind me, did not even dare try to do anything to make any sort of movements to disturb anything that could have been behind me, because my mate was tripping that bloody hard. There's no doubt in my mind that there was someone behind me, like to him. In his eyes, there was someone behind me.
So what happened to him? Did he sober up and kind of come to and was normal again, or?
We ended up locking him in a room because in my own house, I felt like we were going to die when he said that. Like, me and my other mate Scotty both had the feeling in us after he said that we were both going to die that night. So we ended up, it got so bad that I got so scared that I had to put him in the other room because I thought he was going to kill me. My other mate ended up sleeping in my bed. I was sleeping on the couch. And then probably about an hour after we put him into the room, everything goes all quiet. We reckon he's like, all sweet, all sweet. And then all I hear is him banging on the door. And I was just like, maybe he's all good, maybe he's all sweet. I walked around to the front of the house to go look in the window to see what the fuck he was doing. Nah, he's there fucking properly, angrily, scarily, banging on the door, yelling out my name, yelling out, Jonah, Jonah. Or then he would go real quiet like, Jonah. It was just real fucking freaky. It's not the type of shit that like most normal people do while they're fucking tripping. Like, he was fucking weird. So I ended up going back inside. I told him I stood next to the door and I was like, bah, I'm here. You need to like just chill. You need to settle down. blah, 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 blah. You're just fucking bad tripping, G. Just fucking relax, cunt. Relax. And everything went quiet again. 5 minutes later, yeah, I looked over at my mate and I hear the banging again. I was like, oh, is that you doing the banging? And it's just like, no, man, it's not me doing the banging again. And I was like, fuck this, man. I cannot sleep down here. Like, this is way too scary for me. I'm shit scared in my own fucking house that someone next door to me is going to fucking come and kill me. So I ended up going upstairs, went upstairs, told everyone upstairs what had happened. And as soon as I told everyone what had happened, all the stress, all the weird nerves, all the fucking feeling that he was going to come down and kill me, all just disappeared. And I was just relaxed again, all nice and calm. Was upstairs smoking bongs, but legit passed out within the next hour after going upstairs. And I don't know what happened to my mate downstairs. He ended up going home. I don't know how, but we went downstairs the next morning and he wasn't down there anymore. But we spoke to him the next day, and he was all right, but he doesn't even know how he got out.
So your friend's name that was in the room, his name was Keegan, is that right?
Yeah, Keegan.
So what happened to Keegan?
So he's the same as the other one who had a bad trip in the toilet. He doesn't really want to talk about his trip, but he said he just didn't know what was going on. He started getting real paranoid, and he also mentioned that he had other stuff going on with his family as well. And also, I don't know why the fuck we gave him the acid, considering he has like got a tendency to just like freak out and got real bad paranoia. So I guess we weren't really thinking about that at the time. But yeah, he definitely doesn't. He doesn't even like being around me when I'm on the acid anymore. So
he kind of stays away from it now.
Yeah, very far away from it.
Did he seem like he came back to normal?
Not really. He does still seem a bit strange today as it is, and so does my other mate Scotty. Like they both seem a bit weird today.
This episode was produced by me, Philip Johnson. All songs used can be found in the description section of this episode. If you liked what you heard today, please subscribe. Also, rate and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you'd like to write in and tell me what you think, or if you'd like to check out some Psychotropic related merch, or if you have a story you'd like to share, you can do all this at psychotropicpodcast.com. If you'd like to get an idea about the content of the next episode, you can do this by following Psychotropic Podcast on Instagram at Psychotropic Podcast, all one word. Thanks again for listening, everybody. See you next time.